Marcus had never seen anything like this in his life. The moment he stepped off the shuttle onto the alien planet, a wave of awe and fear washed over him. The sky was not blue. It was a swirling canvas of green, purple, and gold, as if the heavens themselves were alive. Strange lights floated across the horizon, and structures twisted upward like giant crystalline trees, their surfaces glowing softly. The air shimmered, and every breath Marcus took felt electric, charged with something he couldn't understand. He had come as a representative of Earth, sent to meet the alien queen after her civilization had contacted human leaders. He thought this would be a diplomatic visit, maybe an exchange of knowledge or gifts. He did not expect this. At the center of a massive courtyard, a figure appeared. The alien queen stepped forward, her presence larger than life. Marcus froze. Her skin glimmered like polished obsidian. Her eyes were deep pools of gold, and her movements were so fluid it was as if gravity itself bent to her will. There was power radiating from her, not just physical but emotional, almost overwhelming. Even from a distance, Marcus felt his heartbeat quicken. "Welcome, human," her voice said, echoing in his mind, soft yet commanding, like a melody that also carried weight. Marcus bowed, unsure if this was the right gesture on a planet where customs might be entirely alien. "I am honored to meet you, Your Majesty," he said, trying to keep his voice steady, though his hands trembled slightly. The queen tilted her head, studying him. Her gaze was sharp, as if she could see through his very soul. "I did not call you here for diplomacy," she said. Her voice, though calm, carried an undeniable intensity that made Marcus shiver. "I have a task for you, one that will test not just your courage but your heart." Marcus swallowed hard. He had prepared for interstellar negotiations, not tests. I am ready, Your Majesty," he said cautiously, wondering what form this test could take. The queen turned, her cloak of iridescent light trailing behind her. "Follow me." She led him through halls that seemed to stretch endlessly, walls reflecting colors he had no names for, floors that pulsed gently like they were alive. Marcus felt as though he had stepped into a dream, a world where reality was only a suggestion. Finally, they reached a massive garden. The air here was warmer, heavy with a scent Marcus could not place, sweet, metallic, and wild all at once. The ground was covered in soft, luminous moss that felt alive beneath his feet. At the center of this garden were three beings. Marcus felt his breath catch. The first was breathtaking. She glowed softly, her form delicate and elegant, her movements graceful like water flowing. Marcus could hardly look away. There was a serenity about her that made his chest ache. The second was different. Her body was uneven, her features sharp and jagged in ways that made Marcus hesitate. But when he looked into her eyes, he saw something more: pain, resilience, and a fire that burned quietly but fiercely. She was powerful in ways that didn't need beauty to be seen. The third was wild. She moved with an energy that seemed untamed, her hair swirling around her like flames, her eyes sparkling with unpredictability. Marcus felt drawn to her like a moth to a storm, excited, terrified, alive. The queen's voice cut through his awe. "These are my daughters," she said. Her voice softened, carrying a hint of sorrow. "You must take one of them. Choose wisely, for they will bond with you. This choice is not simple, and it is not only theirs, it is yours too. Your decision will shape both your lives." Marcus staggered back a step, trying to comprehend what she meant. Take one of her daughters? Bond with them? He had come to this planet as a human diplomat, a representative of Earth. He had not come to choose a being, a life, a soul. His mind raced. He felt fear, awe, and an unfamiliar, almost painful pull at his heart. He looked at the three daughters again. Each of them radiated power, beauty, and something he could not name. How could he ever make such a choice? And yet deep down he felt the gravity of it. This was more than a test. This was life-altering. Marcus took a deep breath, feeling the alien air fill his lungs. He realized that in this moment nothing would ever be the same. He had arrived on a new world, and already his heart was being challenged in ways he could not have imagined. The queen watched silently, her golden eyes unblinking. "Choose," she said simply, her voice soft but absolute. "The time has come." Marcus swallowed again. His hand shook. And in that moment he understood. His journey had truly begun. Marcus stood frozen in the glowing garden, unable to take his eyes off the three daughters. The beautiful one stepped forward first. She moved with a grace that seemed unreal, like she was gliding over the soft moss. Her hair shimmered like sunlight on water, and when she smiled at him, Marcus felt warmth bloom in his chest. It was a smile that could calm storms, that could make a human feel safe even in the strangest world. "Hello," she said softly, her voice like music. "I am Lyria. I hope I may ease your fears." Marcus swallowed hard. He nodded. I am Marcus," he said. "It is an honor to meet you." He felt his words stumble, but she didn't seem to notice. She radiated calm, and just being near her made his chest feel lighter, as if some heavy weight had lifted. Then the second daughter approached. Her form was uneven, her features sharper, her movements deliberate and firm. She did not smile at first. Marcus noticed her eyes, dark, deep, and full of something raw. Pain, anger, perhaps both. Her gaze pierced him, making him feel small and exposed. "I am Ketha," she said, her voice low but strong. "Do not mistake my appearance for weakness. You will learn that strength can hide where it is least expected." Marcus felt a pang of guilt. He had judged her at first glance, labeling her as ugly in his mind. But now he saw the courage in her eyes, the fire that refused to bow to the world's standards. He realized beauty was not always on the surface. Some power was invisible until you noticed it. Finally, the wild one moved. Her steps were unpredictable, light yet forceful. Her hair floated around her like flames, and her eyes sparkled like stars in a stormy sky. She stopped in front of him, studying him with an intensity that made his heart race. "I am Sira," she said, her voice playful, yet full of strength. "Do not expect to control me, Marcus. If you try, you will fail." He swallowed, taken aback. He had never met someone who exuded such raw, untamed energy. Being near her made his pulse quicken. He felt alive in a way he had never felt before. There was danger in her presence, but also excitement, a promise of life beyond his understanding. The alien queen's voice broke the tension. "You will spend time with each of them," she said. "Learn who they are. Observe their strengths, their fears, their hearts. The choice is not yours to make lightly. It is a bond that will last beyond time and distance. Only one may accompany you." Marcus spent the day with Lyria first. She walked with him through the glowing gardens, pointing out the strange flora and explaining their strange properties. Her voice was gentle, comforting, and everywhere he looked, Marcus felt peace. He realized he could imagine a life with her, a life calm and safe. He liked the idea, but something inside him ached for more than serenity. With Ketha, the day was different. She challenged him at every step, testing his patience and courage. She asked him questions that made him think, forcing him to face his own fears and prejudices. Being with her was hard, exhausting, but he felt a strange satisfaction. He saw her resilience, her hidden strength, and admired it deeply. Sira, the wild one, could not be tamed. She led him to the edge of cliffs, made him run across fields that glowed with strange energy, laughed when he stumbled, and disappeared when he least expected it. Being with her was terrifying and thrilling. Marcus felt his own heartbeat matching hers, fast, unpredictable, alive. He realized that with her, life would never be ordinary. By the time the sun, if it could even be called that, set on this alien world, Marcus was exhausted, yet alive in ways he had never imagined. Each daughter had shown him something different: peace, strength, and wild freedom. The garden fell silent, except for the soft hum of the glowing plants. Marcus realized that this choice would not be easy. He had never had to consider a decision that would change not just his life, but the life of another being. The queen had given him a gift and a burden at once. Marcus looked at the three daughters, his mind and heart both torn. Each one had touched a part of him he had not known existed, and he understood that this was not just a choice, it was a test of his heart, his courage, and his understanding of what it meant to love, to accept, and to embrace the unknown. He closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. Tomorrow he would have to decide, but tonight he simply allowed himself to feel the awe, the fear, the wonder, and the pull of destiny that already seemed to wrap around him like the strange, living sky above. The next day, Marcus awoke with a strange mix of excitement and fear. The alien world seemed even more alive in the morning. The sky shimmered in shades of violet and gold, and the air smelled of something sweet, sharp and alive. He knew today he had to spend more time with each daughter, and that meant he had to look deeper than appearances. He approached Lyria first. She was waiting in a field where soft, glowing flowers bent toward the sunlight. Her delicate movements and serene smile made Marcus's heart ache. She spoke softly, showing him the way the flowers responded to touch, teaching him about the planet's subtle energies. Being near her was like stepping into a gentle river, calm, warm, and safe. Marcus realized he admired her, perhaps even loved the peace she offered. But a small voice inside whispered that comfort alone might not be enough for him. Next, he spent time with Ketha. She was waiting in a darker part of the garden, where jagged rocks rose from the ground and shadows danced across the glowing moss. At first she didn't speak, her eyes sharp and observant. Slowly she began to ask questions that cut through his heart. "What do you fear, human? What do you hide from the world?" Marcus hesitated. No one had ever asked him these things so directly. He opened up about his fears, of failure, of being weak, of not living a life that mattered. Ketha listened, never judging, only staring at him with those piercing eyes that seemed to see every corner of his soul. By the time they finished, Marcus felt exposed, raw yet strangely proud. She had challenged him in ways he had never imagined, forcing him to see strength within himself he didn't know existed. Finally, he turned to Sira, the wild daughter. She waited at the edge of a cliff that dropped into a river of glowing liquid light. Her hair danced in the wind, eyes flickering with untamed fire. She didn't say a word at first. Instead, she ran, and Marcus had to chase her, leaping across rocks that pulsed under his feet. Every time he almost caught her, she darted away, laughing, teasing, daring him to keep up. When he finally reached her, he was out of breath, heart pounding in a way he had never experienced. Sira's gaze softened for a moment, and she whispered, "Do you feel it, Marcus? This world, this life, it is not gentle, it is wild. Only those who dare can truly live." Being with her was exhilarating, terrifying, and alive. With her, he didn't feel safe, but he felt present. He realized he had never truly felt alive before. Not like this. Not with his heart racing in every direction. Not with every breath feeling like fire and wind combined. As the alien sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden and purple streaks across the sky, Marcus sat alone for a moment. He thought about each daughter. Lyria was peace, Ketha was strength, and Sira was freedom. He realized the queen's words were true. This was more than a choice about appearances. It was about connection, heart, mind, and soul. He thought of what his life had been on Earth. Predictable, safe, often dull. Here, each daughter represented a path he could never have imagined. Lyria could offer serenity, Ketha could teach him resilience, and Sira could teach him courage, risk, and what it meant to truly embrace life in its raw, untamed form. Marcus's chest tightened. How could one human possibly choose between such beings? Each one touched a part of him he had never known existed. He realized this decision was not just about them. It was about him. Whether he had the courage to follow his heart, even if it meant stepping into uncertainty, danger, and the unknown. He looked at the stars beginning to appear in the alien sky. They shimmered like promises, and in that moment, Marcus understood something profound. Life was not about choosing comfort or safety. It was about embracing the parts of existence that scared you, that excited you, that made your heart beat faster and your soul awaken. With a deep breath, he whispered to himself, "I will not choose blindly. I will choose with my heart." And in that quiet moment, as the wind carried whispers of the alien world around him, Marcus felt the first stirrings of a choice that would change everything. His life, their lives, and perhaps the destiny of worlds far beyond his own. The following morning, Marcus awoke to the hum of the alien world, the air thick with the scent of glowing flowers and strange minerals. Today, he knew, would not be simple. The daughters had each revealed pieces of themselves, but the queen's test was far from over. Each of them would challenge him, push him, and reveal truths about his own heart he had never faced. He met Lyria first. She led him through a garden where luminous vines twisted around floating rocks. The light around her seemed to pulse in time with her heartbeat. Calm and steady, she spoke softly, asking Marcus about his dreams, his fears, his hopes. He told her about Earth, about the life he had lived, and about the longing he often felt for something greater. "You have a kind heart," Lyria said, smiling gently. "You see the world with empathy. That is rare among your kind." Her words made Marcus feel warmth, a sense of belonging. Yet as he walked beside her, he felt a quiet unease. Lyria's path was safe, predictable, and gentle. But something inside him stirred uneasily. He realized that while peace was beautiful, it did not stir his spirit in the way he longed. Then he turned to Keitha. She stood among jagged rocks, her silhouette sharp and commanding. Marcus felt a shiver run through him. Keitha's eyes held fire and challenge. She pushed him to climb the cliffs, to test his strength and to confront his fears. When he stumbled, she did not offer comfort, she challenged him. "You hesitate," she said, her voice low and firm. "Strength is not in avoiding risk. It is in facing it even when failure seems certain." Marcus gritted his teeth and tried again, each movement forcing him to dig deeper into himself. By the time the sun, if it could be called that, dipped toward the horizon, he was exhausted, sweat coating his skin, muscles aching. Yet he felt alive in a way he had never known. Keitha had shown him that strength was not just physical. It was emotional, mental, and moral. Her challenge had forced him to see courage within himself he had never recognized. Finally, he approached Sira. She waited at the edge of a wide plateau, her wild hair dancing in the alien wind. Her eyes sparkled with mischief and fire. Without a word, she sprinted forward, and Marcus had to follow, leaping across rocks and glowing streams of energy. She twisted, spun, and disappeared at times, teasing him, daring him to catch her. "Do you think life is easy?" She shouted over the wind, laughter in her voice. "Do you think you can control everything?" Marcus felt his heart pounding, lungs burning, every nerve alive with fear and excitement. He realized that Sira was a force of nature. She could not be tamed, and she did not want to be. Being with her meant embracing the unknown, the unpredictable, the dangerous, and yet, he felt more himself here than anywhere else. When he finally reached her, she grabbed his hand and pulled him close. Her gaze pierced into him, raw and unyielding. "You cannot hide from life," she whispered. "You cannot fear what makes you alive." Marcus felt a thrill he could not describe. His fear, his hesitation, his doubts, they all burned away in the heat of this moment. With Sira there was no comfort, no safety, but there was truth. And in that truth he felt the stirrings of something he had never known, raw, untamed freedom. As the sky darkened and the alien stars began to glow, Marcus stood alone for a moment. He thought of the 3 daughters. Lyria offered peace. Keitha offered strength. Sira offered freedom. He realized that the Queen's challenge was not about beauty or appearances. It was about heart, courage, and the willingness to embrace the life that called to him most deeply. Marcus closed his eyes, feeling the wind on his face. His chest ached with longing, fear, and excitement. The choice was coming, and he could not delay it. One path would define not only his life, but the lives of the daughters and perhaps the fate of worlds beyond his own. He opened his eyes and looked at the glowing horizon. The decision would be difficult, terrifying, and magnificent. And deep inside he knew that no matter what he chose, his life would never be the same again. The alien night was quiet, but Marcus's mind was anything but. He lay beneath the glowing sky, the stars swirling in colors he had no words for. His heart felt heavy with the weight of the choice he had to make. Each daughter had shown him a different part of life, and each had touched his soul in ways he could not ignore. He had never faced anything like this, never imagined a moment that could shape his entire existence. He thought of Lyria first. Her beauty, her calm, her serene presence. She was like a river that could carry him gently through life. Her laughter soft, her voice soothing, her touch warm. With her, Marcus could imagine peace, safety, and a life free from fear. Every instinct in him wanted to step into that comfort, to feel the quiet embrace of someone who understood him without words. He felt a lump in his throat. Could he choose safety over the fire burning inside him? Then he remembered Keitha. The way she had challenged him, forced him to climb cliffs, to confront his doubts and fears, to see strength within himself he didn't know existed. She had no illusions, no softness, but she had opened his eyes to courage and resilience. Being near her made him feel powerful, awake and alive. She had taught him that the world was harsh, that life was a test, and that he had the strength to face it. But could he accept a life of constant challenge, of struggle? It frightened him, and yet it called to him. And then there was Sira, the wild daughter, untamed, unpredictable, alive with energy that made his pulse race. She had thrown him into storms, pushed him to the edge, and made him feel fear and excitement at once. With her, Marcus felt alive in the deepest sense. Life with Sira would never be calm, never safe, never ordinary, but it would be real, raw, and breathtaking. He remembered the way she had laughed when he stumbled, the way her eyes had pierced his soul, the way every moment with her felt like standing on the edge of something magnificent and terrifying all at once. Marcus rose to his feet, pacing among the glowing flora. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. Choosing one daughter meant leaving the others behind. He could not imagine causing them pain, yet he knew he had to decide. His heart ached, torn between safety, strength, and freedom. He walked to a quiet pond, its surface reflecting the swirling sky. Marcus looked at himself in the water, and for the first time, he saw clearly what this choice truly was. It was not just about the daughters. It was about him. Could he choose comfort when he longed for adventure? Could he embrace strength when he also craved passion? Could he risk everything for freedom, knowing it might destroy him or elevate him beyond imagination? Tears pricked his eyes. He had never realized how heavy a single decision could feel. He thought of the Queen, watching silently, waiting for him to prove himself worthy. He thought of each daughter, their hopes and fears, their beauty in ways that went beyond the surface. He understood that life was not about choosing the easiest path. It was about listening to the deepest part of one's soul, the part that whispered truth even when the mind resisted. Marcus closed his eyes, letting the alien wind brush against his face. He remembered Sierra's words, "You cannot hide from life. You cannot fear what makes you alive." The memory stirred something inside him, a fire that refused to be ignored. The thought of Lyria's calm and Ketha's strength was comforting, but his heart beat for the storm, for the wildness, for the life that terrified him yet called to him louder than anything else. Finally, Marcus opened his eyes. He knew what he had to do. It would not be easy. It would not be safe. But it would be real, and sometimes he realized life was not meant to be safe. It was meant to be lived fully, fearlessly, and with every heartbeat wide open. The choice was coming. Tomorrow he would have to decide. But tonight, under the alien stars, Marcus allowed himself to feel the fire inside him, the wild pull of destiny, and the undeniable truth. He was ready to follow his heart, no matter where it led. And in that quiet, glowing world, Marcus understood the first step of courage, admitting what he truly wanted, even if it scared him more than anything else in the universe. The morning sun, or whatever passed for a sun on this alien world, painted the sky in shades of pink and gold. Marcus felt a knot in his chest as he approached the daughters. Today was the day. The moment of truth had come. Each of them waited silently, their eyes reflecting hope, fear, and a quiet understanding. Lyria stepped forward first, her soft glow making Marcus's heart ache. "Have you made your decision?" she asked, her voice gentle, almost tender. Marcus swallowed hard, feeling the warmth of her presence. She had been a haven of calm, a soft embrace in a world that could be overwhelming. Choosing her would mean peace, love, and safety, but his heart was restless. He could not deny the pull of something wilder, something alive. Ketha watched him closely from the shadows of the glowing rocks. Her eyes were sharp, her posture firm. "Do not hesitate," she said, her voice steady. "The choice is not just for them. It is for you as well. Your courage will be tested, Marcus. Choose the path that challenges your soul, not the one that comforts it." Marcus's hands shook. He thought of every moment with each of them. Lyria's calm, Ketha's strength, Sierra's wild energy. He realized that life was not meant to be easy or safe. It was meant to ignite the fire inside him, to push him to the edge of fear and wonder, to make him feel fully alive. Sierra stood at the edge of the plateau, her hair dancing in the alien wind, eyes blazing with untamed light. "Do not choose me if you are afraid," she said, her voice teasing but fierce. "I will not be gentle. I will not bend. But if you choose me, you will feel alive in every breath, every heartbeat." Marcus looked at her, truly looked, and felt his heart leap. He thought of the chase across cliffs, the wind whipping against his face, the thrill of unpredictability, the joy of raw, unrestrained freedom. He realized he was in love, not just with her, but with the life she represented. He turned to the Queen, who watched silently from the garden's edge. Her golden eyes held wisdom, patience, and a quiet power that seemed to see every corner of his soul. Marcus bowed slightly. "Your Majesty," he said, his voice firm despite the trembling inside. "I have made my choice." The Queen's gaze sharpened, and Marcus felt her presence pressing on him. as though the weight of the universe had focused in her eyes. He swallowed and took a deep breath. "I choose Sira," he said, pointing toward the wild daughter. For a moment, silence fell. Lyria's glow dimmed slightly, but she smiled, her expression understanding and accepting. Ketha stepped forward and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are brave," she said softly. "Not everyone would choose the storm when comfort is offered. You have chosen courage, and that is rare among your kind." Sira's eyes widened, and for the first time Marcus saw emotion flicker in them, something soft, almost vulnerable beneath the fire. She ran to him, grabbing his hand, her laughter spilling into the air like music and lightning combined. "Finally," she whispered, her voice low and trembling with excitement. "I thought you would never see it." Marcus felt a rush of relief, exhilaration, and joy all at once. His heart pounded as he looked into her eyes, feeling a connection that words could never describe. She was wild, untamed, terrifying, and magnificent, and she had chosen him as much as he had chosen her. The Queen stepped forward, her hand resting lightly on Marcus's shoulder. "You have chosen wisely," she said, her voice calm but commanding. "Many fail to see the power in what they fear. You humans are fragile, yet sometimes your hearts are stronger than you know. Remember this day. Remember the lesson you have learned. Life is not meant to be safe, but it is meant to be lived fully." Marcus nodded, tears pricking his eyes. The weight of the choice lifted, replaced by a rush of life and possibility. He had chosen not the easiest path, not the safe one, but the one that made him feel truly alive. Sira laughed again, pulling him toward the edge of the plateau. Together they ran, their hands clasped, hearts beating in unison, leaving behind hesitation, fear, and doubt. Marcus realized that this was only the beginning, that life with Sira would be challenging, unpredictable, and breathtaking. And he could not wait. For the first time, Marcus understood what it meant to follow one's heart, to embrace the storm, and to live with every part of his soul wide open. The alien wind whipped across the plateau as Marcus and Sira stood together, hand in hand. The glowing world around them felt alive, vibrant, and full of endless possibility. Marcus looked at Sira, her wild hair dancing in the light, eyes blazing with untamed energy. He realized fully that life had changed forever. Nothing would ever be ordinary again. The shuttle that would take them back to human space waited nearby, its sleek metallic surface gleaming in the strange sunlight. Marcus felt a pang of sadness as he glanced back at the Queen and the daughters he had left behind. Lyria's calm smile and Keitha's firm nod reminded him of what he had chosen to leave, and yet he felt no regret. His heart had chosen the path of fire, unpredictability, and life lived fully. Sira leaned close to him, her voice soft but fierce. "Are you ready?" she asked. Marcus nodded, feeling the strength within himself that he had discovered over the past days. "Yes," he said. "I'm ready." The Queen approached them one last time, her golden eyes glowing with quiet power. "Remember this," she said, her voice calm and absolute. "The bond you share is not just with each other. It is with life itself. Courage, love, and freedom are more powerful than any weapon or technology. Protect them, nurture them, and let them guide you." Marcus bowed, feeling the weight of her words settle into his soul. He looked at Sira, seeing the fire in her eyes mirrored in his own. She was not just a companion, she was a challenge, a partner, and a force that would push him beyond every limit he had ever known. As they boarded the shuttle, Marcus felt the engines hum beneath his feet. He glanced at Sira, who gave him a mischievous grin. "Hold on tight," she said. And with that, they lifted off, leaving the alien planet behind. The journey back through space was unlike anything Marcus had experienced. Sira's presence was a constant thrill, her energy infectious, her spirit untamed. She laughed when they passed through meteor storms, challenged him when navigating strange gravitational fields, and in every moment, reminded him that life was not meant to be predictable. Marcus watched the stars streaming past, thinking about what he had learned. He had arrived as a visitor, unsure and cautious. He was leaving as someone transformed, braver, stronger, and alive in ways he could never have imagined. Sira had shown him what it meant to embrace life fully, without fear or hesitation. Days passed in a blur of training, laughter, and exploration. Sira taught him to trust instincts he never knew he had, to feel the raw energy of the universe and to let go of control when it was impossible to hold. Marcus realized that the lessons from Lyria and Ketha had not been wasted. They had prepared him for this moment, guiding him to see beyond safety and comfort, to reach for something extraordinary. One night, as they drifted above a distant planet, Marcus and Sira watched the stars in silence. He took her hand, feeling her warmth and her wild energy combine with his own steady heartbeat. "I never knew life could feel like this," he whispered. Sira smiled, her eyes glowing like the fires of a distant sun. "Few humans do," she said. "But now you will. You will live fully, boldly, and without regret, and together we will change everything." Marcus nodded, a smile breaking.